Hey, happy holidays, everybody. It's really hard to believe that we're just a few days away from Christmas already. If you celebrate Christmas, I wish you a very Merry Christmas. No matter what you celebrate, if you celebrate, how you celebrate, or where in the world you're celebrating, I hope you're doing well. The holiday season is supposed to be this time of magic and wonder and festivities, but it can also be a really challenging time of year for a lot of people. Myself, I've had a lifelong struggle with depression. Uh, there are times in my life where I'm doing really well and it doesn't impact me, and then there are times where, for no particular reason, I just fall into a really dark place and I turn very antisocial. I don't want to respond to texts, messages. I don't really get on social media. I have a hard time even getting out of bed and go to work, and then I come home and I'm just so drained from having to be on all day that I just don't have the energy to do much of anything. And this year in particular, I've missed a lot of holiday parties and leather events in San Francisco. I've been very off the grid. But I have found, especially through Gear 365 this year, that the more of myself that I share, the more I open up, the more the world gives to me in return. And so just by talking about this, I've started to really open up about what things have been like the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of days. People have shared with me that they too go through this. And I had somebody in particular say, well, Cal, I'm really surprised to hear that you struggle with these things. You and Scott, you seem to have this perfect existence. You guys always post the best photos, and it's hard to imagine you guys would have these challenges. Here's the important thing to keep in mind, and this is something that I really have to work to remember. Social media is great, right? It's an awesome place for us to connect with one another, to share with one another, to feel like we're not alone. But it can also do a lot of damage in the fact that people tend to post their best selves on social media, the best moments of their lives. Well, as we scroll through our feeds and we see all these photos of all these events and all these perfect moments, we tend to look at ourselves like, well, what's wrong with my life? Why am I not doing that? Why am I not a part of that? What's wrong with me? And it can bring us to a real low place. And I'm especially guilty of that. I look at all these photos from Folsom, Europe, where I see these really kinky relationships out there, right? Where they're doing all these amazing things together, or people in just perfect skin-tight gear that I would just love to experience, right? And I think to myself, well, God, I'm not doing that. I don't have access to that. I may have a closet full of gear, but half of it doesn't fit me, right? And so I'm just, all these insecurities start to come out. But the fact of the matter is, every one of those people who post every one of those stories and every one of those experiences have just as many struggles as you and I do. Every one of them. Nobody is perfect. And again, that's something that I have to really remember. Every one of those relationships where somebody's, in this really kinky scene doing something, yeah, they have struggles. Somebody who's wearing perfect gear, I'm sure they had to work very hard to get that, and I'm sure they've made sacrifices in other parts of their lives. And I'm sure they're probably hurting and struggling in certain ways as well. And when it comes to Scott and I, so Scott and I stood right here a couple weeks ago and we took all these holiday photos of us in full bluff gear, right? And yeah, that was a really fun moment for us. But Scott and I, the truth of the matter is that we really have to work at our relationship. We fight, we bicker, we have to struggle to communicate. We have to struggle just to make time for one another. And we have to work really, really hard to keep the romance alive in our relationship, because life takes over. Jobs and houses, responsibilities, family. And then you come home, you're so excited, you're so tired. The only thing that sounds good is just sitting and watching TV, right? We have to really work at our relationship, just like anybody else. So yeah, you may see photos from Scott and I, and yeah, we do have our good moments. Yeah, life isn't always morose, right? Life is about balance. So we have our good moments, and we love to share them, but we have our imperfections and our problems just like anybody else. So just remember that as you're out there on social media. Nobody's perfect. And that hopefully will help us all to get through the holiday season and partake in some of that merrymaking and that excitement and the magic that is the holiday season. And just being here and sharing this with you is helping me to do that. I'm gonna go out and do the last of my shopping, actually. My list is still pretty long. I think I'm actually gonna go out in full leather, why the hell not? That's what Gear 365 is all about, right? Finding the courage to be your true self. So wherever in the world you are, whether you're celebrating, whatever it is you're celebrating, whatever it is you're wearing, happy holidays, and my very best to you. Take care.